gamers all around the universe. Today, I don't know what kind of video this is, but yesterday and the day before, Saturday and Sunday, I have played Golden League Round 1 tournament. For those that are not aware, I'll quickly summarize it. Golden League is a $125,000 tournament. It consists of 3 rounds where players gather points based on if they're first, second, third, fourth, yada yada, and then top 8 players with the highest amount of points qualify for the what's called elite playoffs, and that top 8 is playing for the $125,000. Where first place is $30K, and also top 40 players in the whole tournament and the whole point system also get a lot of money, so that's great. So yesterday, aka this past weekend, round 1 finished. Spoilers, I got 3rd place. It's a double elimination round 1, so I lost against Vortex in the winners bracket and lost against Marine Lord in the losers bracket. I'll quickly show you my path from in the tournament, and then we'll go into some just talking about the tournament replay analysis and all the good stuff. So this is my round 1 path. Gandhi, 2 Anxiety, 2 Kasva, 2 on B. I beat Marine Lord 3-1. I got 3-0'd by Vortex, dropped in the losers, and then I lost to Marine Lord 3-2, which was a 4.5 hour best of 5. I think a 4.5 or 5 hour best of 5. So it was long as hell. Another thing to consider, these 3 rounds will have different rules. So round 1 only had Altai, Dry-Arabia, Highview, and Lipany in the map pool. Round 2 will have these maps, but top 3 civs are banned on those maps. So basically, they gathered the high-level players, and we voted which civs are going to be banned. We don't know the results yet. But for example, on Dry-Arabia, you probably will not be able to play Mongols, Delhi, or Abbasid. So it's going to be like an off-meta tournament, and this is happening this coming Saturday. With all that being said, I quickly wanted to talk about a few things and then go through my games, tell you guys what went wrong, and so on and so forth. So first things first, there was a lot of complaining, asking, questioning about the system. So I don't know if you guys know or not, but basically, if you are coming from winner's bracket, you have no advantage. Your advantage is that the opponent has to play loser's bracket finals before facing you in the finals, which I think is the wrong kind of advantage, and I voiced my opinion to Beastyqt, the organizer. In StarCraft 2, you would do a 1-0 lead for the guy in the finals, coming from the winner's bracket, facing the loser's bracket, which I think makes sense. The guy from the winner's bracket didn't lose, so he should have an advantage, 100%. 100% should have an advantage. But I think because Marine Lord had to play me in the loser's bracket, and then he had to play Vortex. Now, we had probably the longest best of 5 in AoE 4 ever, by like double the amount, but I was dead tired. Like, I was mentally exhausted, and Marine Lord as well. Marine Lord did end up winning, but I feel like Vortex had an unfair advantage where Marine Lord was tired, and it produced, in my opinion, worse games for the grand finals, and a lot of people were not a fan of that, and I am not a fan of that either. I think that the grand finals should be just grand finals and have the both players play their full capacity. Like, if both players are playing like semifinals and then they meet, that's fine. But if one player has to play and the other one doesn't, I feel like that's an unfair advantage, in my opinion. So I think that the winner from winner's bracket should get a 1-0 lead, or I have another idea, and this is something that popped in my mind. People may like it, may not, but I'm just giving alternatives. What you can have is a clean best of 7, and the guy from the winner's bracket will know which civ his opponent will play on the first map beforehand. So for example, if I'm coming from loser's bracket and we play Dry-Arabia, I say I'm going to play Abbasid, and then Vortex, if he was the guy coming from winner's bracket, will know that, and he can counterpick. I think that's also an advantage, but it's not a 1-0 lead, but it is an advantage. So I think that can work as well. It's not a massive advantage like a 1-0 lead, but it is an advantage in the terms of opponent will know your first pick on the first map, and that's it. Yeah, I just think that someone coming from the winner's bracket should have an advantage. I think the current advantage that exists is the wrong one. It is what it is. I think I honestly, like I said, I was exhausted playing against Marine Lord. I was dead, and I'm assuming he was as well. He did not end up winning, but I think that it produced for the worst games than if Marine Lord was fully rested, right? And technically that is Vortex's advantage, but I think it's the wrong kind of advantage, like I said. I'd like to see that changed. But at the end of the day, it's Golden League's and Pesty's decision what they want to do, because it's their tournament. You know, I think they want the best games possible, and I think having one guy dead tired and the other guy fully like chilled and ready to go. But yeah, my series against Marine Lord was like 4.5, 5 hours. So I'm gonna go through the games. Obviously, I'm not gonna go through all the games. I'm just gonna tell you guys my opinion, what went wrong, my thought process, and what I could have done better. So game number 1, I prepared this build. Prepared as in I played one game beforehand to test it, and I thought it was great. And I think this might be the new meta in Mongol versus Mongol, and I think this is something you're gonna see a lot more on the ladder. So what I did is the fast wheelbarrow with Mongols, like super fast. This is Dark Age. 4 on gold. I got feudal, and then I put all the workers on wood, and I went for the fast second TC. Now, fast second TC, by the way, if someone is wondering why didn't I take this from the start and not this, is because I didn't see this. By the time I planted the TC, I already started building this igloo. So, I think it's gonna be very hard to punish Mongol versus Mongol fast TC like this. There might be a possibility where you just go Spearman Archer or Horseman Archer and you all in with a Ram. But I do think that this has potential. So as you can see, I'm gathering a lot of wood. I just hit feudal, and I'm going to be placing down a second TC. And I actually don't know if Marine Lord scouted this. He never scouted my wood line. Yeah, he didn't even scout this, because this is so uncommon. Nobody does this. Vortex punished it? Yeah, punished it with a different civ, brother. That's like me saying I punished it with Protoss in StarCraft 2. It's not quite the same. So yeah, he didn't see the second TC at all until much, much later. Now, I only played one game with this, so I don't have a lot of experience with this build, and I'm going to show you my mistake in this game, even though I ended up winning. So here I'm taking up to castle, and I got the scouting that he's going for blacksmith and archer range, so I knew he's going to push siege. So this is where he sees my second TC, and he probably doesn't even know when I put the second TC. But I was good 11 workers ahead already, which is huge. Like at this point of the game, it's fucking huge. So I went for the siege improved as well, archer range, yada yada. Now, this was all good, and I thought he's going full YOLO all in. And soon I will scout a second TC. So I'm making Springles, I'm playing very defensive because, you know, he's pushing with towers and stuff like that. But when he saw my second TC, he went for his second TC of his own, but he completely stopped production. You can see he only has 2 units, but obviously I don't know that, right? Because there's a tower in front of my base. So I send my con to see what's going on, because I'm not seeing any action from his side. I send my con, I still see same production, nothing added. I kill a villager here, then I go around, and I see second TC. Now, if I had more experience, literally one game that was like this, which now I do, I would have insta-pushed and killed him. If you look at the army count, I have more army. I have 3 Springolds already. He, I think, has 1 Springold, and the pathway to his stone is completely free. Like, I can just walk around it. I have more production, I have more upgrades. He has more relics, because he went TC and relics. But if I just pushed, I would have been able to win 1,000,000%, because I'm 20 workers ahead, so my eco is just way better. I'll be able to produce him, and I'm adding more production. But again, I wasn't sure, because I've never played Mongol double TC in this kind of situation, because I don't have a lot of experience. So I was trying to clear towers, which, you know, he was just buying time. Like, he has 6 units, right? I can just ruffle stomp him. But this comes with experience, and I think now playing this, I'll have, you know, better experience going into the next one. But yeah, if I just beeline push for the stone, it would have been much better for me. Also, here, I should have pushed instantly for gold, but instead I pushed into the main base. And I even knew that there's double gold here, and that's the only gold he has access to. So if I actually just pushed here, I would have won the game straight up. But again, you know, live and learn. From here on out, the game goes quite far, and I end up CG here, but I don't really do anything because, again, I didn't realize how far ahead I was. I'm like 40-50 supply ahead, which I could have pushed and I could have ended the game much faster. But, you know, I ended up winning the game anyway, so yeah, I'm not going to analyze the full game because that was my mistake and that's something I should have done better. Lipany. Oh, baby, this game was... Okay, this game was 1 hour and 24 minutes. This was probably the highest level game that I've played that was this long. I don't know how this looks from viewer point of view, but this game killed me. Like, this game exhausted me completely. It was... Like, I actually want to look at the stats for APM in this match, because an hour and 24 minute game, even if I had 250 APM, like imagine 250 APM for 1 hour and 24 minutes. It's insane. So this game, Beastyqt versus Rus. So I feel like in a way, I mean, first game, you know, any civ can happen really, but I feel like in this game, I knew that he's gonna pick Rus. Like, I was like, he's gonna pick Rus, but I actually didn't know what to pick against it. And I ended up picking a civ that this build from Rus is supposed to counter. So I kind of countered myself. I don't know why. I'm just stupid like that. So I counter myself, right? I give him what he literally wanted. Don't know why. And so my plan was to go super fast barracks and prevent him getting the boar. Again, I had no experience in trying this. This was just a theory. And I make a mistake of, I make the barracks. He is slowly going to move towards the boar. But instead of just sending first spearman straight away, I send my spearman to defend this, which was a huge mistake. I should have just let these ones harass, and I should have gone with these 3 units here straight away. And this would have... I don't know if it would have prevented the boar, but it would have killed villagers 100% because now I have a second spearman. So one spearman is there chilling, and imagine if before he engaged the boar, I had 2 scouts and a spear there. Like while he's fighting the boar, I could have been killing his workers. So that was a mistake. I do end up doing something like unplanned, like I improvised this a little bit. I made a tower, and then because the boar is here, I can upgrade the tower and deny the boar. Now, in a way, I did deny the boar, that's great, but I don't have a second TC. And now I'm 1 TC versus 1 TC, and he has the eco upgrade. So, I don't know, not the greatest spot. I kept my 4 spearmen in here. A lot of people thought I forgot them. I kept my 4 spearmen in case he tries to take this down with scouts or rams, so I can actually kill it. But yeah, also I built production buildings in the front. I mean, this barracks is okay, but these ones should be like here. Maybe I could have put a tower here, upgraded with stone. That would completely deny the opponent from coming in. I don't know. So now it turns out me going double archer range, which is stupid because, in my opinion, because he has like 5 archer ranges. Okay, he has 3, he's gonna add more here. So he has 4 or 5 archer ranges. So me going archery doesn't make any sense because he's gonna outproduce me. So that's mistake number 1. Or like number 2, 3. Berries were in the front, which is unfortunate. And then I had 1 berry patch here and then berries in fucking Africa. So that was unfortunate for me, but not why I lost. Here he keeps poking around, and then I start adding this because I thought he was going to go around to kill my wood, but he didn't, so I cancel. I add double stables, which I should have done a long time ago. And it was pretty bad at this point. I'm 4 workers behind because I lost a worker here and there. I'm doing some harassment on the deer here. So yeah, I lose houses, I get supply blocked, I lost the barracks, I lost an archer range, so like, the game ain't great. Like, you know, he's 30 supply ahead already. Now this is where I see the chance and I just commit to full-on engagement. I lose like 4 or 5 more workers here. Snipe the spearman, I go in and I chase him down. Now the problem is I'm 12 workers behind. So while this is a pretty good engage for me, 12 workers behind ain't that great. If I was on double TC, this would be a different story, but I was not, so yeah. I thought here I had some pretty good micro, splitting the archers, sniping the units. So that was great. And this is where I start transitioning to castle, because I kind of freed myself a little bit from the push. And this is another mistake that I do. So right now, I should have made a ram. Well, actually, no. I went back here, and I think that was justified, maybe. Because I saw... Oh, actually, it wasn't. Now, looking at it, it wasn't. But the reason why I went back is because I saw double stable, so I thought he was transitioning to mass knights, and I didn't know if he had knights or not, so I went back. Should have kept pushing, because I have a little bit more army, and his villagers are just running around. So I should have kept pushing because I have big reinforcements, and I should have made 1 ram, and I should have gone into castle, made mangoes, and kept pushing. So what ends up happening is I kind of get semi-caught here. I do some harassment with the horses, which was okay. I deny some food. You know, he ends up running, so that was okay. He harassed me on this side, and I go castle. So, worker count, I'm 13 behind. So again, this is pretty bad. Soon I go back to stone, and I go back to, I produce, I think, 2 more TCs, and I continue macroing. Now, again, what I should have done is I should have not had this many on food. I should have gathered stone faster, put like 30 workers on food, 15 on gold, or 12 on gold, and I should have just made a mango dye pushed. Ran mango dye, push, 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 go, go, go. Because that's how you play Odyssey. But for whatever reason, I just kind of didn't. Like, I made a defensive mango, and I did attack actually, right? But this is the mistake. I attack here, and I always tell you guys, you always need to attack to deny resources, right? So I should have attacked either here, which is a weird angle to go through here. And I knew that there's double berry patch here, so it's very obvious he's gonna go there, right? Because he already gathered deer here. And if I just went to the right, that is 15 villagers I could have killed for free. Completely for free. And then the villager count would be in my lead. Plus, I'm gonna double TC very soon. So I just attack here. And it kind of starts going okay. I did kill some villagers, right? I equalized the worker count. But I lost like all the spearmen, so I had to run because he had knights. Or again, I don't know how many knights he had, that's the thing. Like, he was using them to run by, but when you play the game, like, I don't know if he has 20 knights or he has 2 knights, right? Because you can't get perfect scouting. This is where I send the knights, but I could have just put my army here and destroyed these 2. And that would have been a huge lead for me, now with the triple TC as well. But like I said, you know, some poor decisions being made. Also, I had enough stone for castle, but I made it so defensive. I think I just thought I was way more far behind. Like, I could have slapped this castle like right here, which would give me access to this area, and to the middle. But I made it so defensive. Like, I don't know why, even though, like, look at my unit count, it's insane. So, basically, I misread this game quite a bit, I think. And, it kind of, you know, costed me the game in the long run. From here on out, he sieges. I keep very focused on food for some reason instead of more on wood to push with siege. I could have pushed from this side, kill all the archer ranges, kill the barracks, kill this TC. But I was like so scared that I'm gonna get pushed, so I kept just staying defensive, which, again, I don't fucking know why. I think I just thought I was very far behind, and I just didn't react. And from here on out, he's Rus, so late game, Rus is better because of their siege. And he had way more gold income because of the relics, sacred sites, and because of the hunting cabins. And eventually I just ran out of resources and I lost. So I think this game I could have won. But like I said, you know, few mistakes is all it takes to lose a game. So, which I felt like those mistakes that I made were quite big. Like they were not like, oh, oopsie doopsie. It's like, no, it's pretty bad. Did Marinlord play too passive? No, he didn't, because he's the late game Civ. Like Abbasid is very good late game, but Rus is better because of their siege. Okay, this game. Well, this game, you know, like last week I beat Marinlord, French versus Abbasid, but even after that game, like I still think that Abbasid is extremely favored in this matchup. Yeah, I kind of pushed, I committed, I think maybe too much. So my plan was to try push and do some damage, yada yada. And I think the plan was good, but the execution was bad for me. So it started out okay. Marinlord think the late game Abbasid versus Russian is the same. How is it the same? You have Streltsy and Rus is better siege. I don't think it's the same. And also Rus has way more gold, because in the nature of the matchup, Rus will have more gold income for no supply, because they can build hunting cabins and they're way more likely to get relics. So just because of that, Rus will have more gold, but eventually, like, yeah, I know people are gonna say, like, yeah, but you can trade. Yeah, trading costs supply. Right, so I'm gonna have less army. Yeah, of course Rus is better late game. That's not even a question. Their siege is way better. And they have the gate, right? They can buy stone late game, they can do whatever the fuck they want. Not to mention their siege is cheaper, like, hello? And has more range. So... but yeah, anyway. This game, I felt like the poking and prodding went okay. You know, I was poking everywhere. I lost a knight here and there, but it wasn't like terrible. He has a lot of units here, and he's slowly moving into the second TC. He walled off here, so I couldn't really access this from any point. So I feel like that I put him in a back foot enough. Like, look, he's 830, and he's still no second TC. Now, what is my mistake here? Well, my mistake is that, first of all, I went second archery range. I shouldn't have. I should have just stayed on one. And I think that I should, if I made a ram, I should have just made one, just to kind of mind game threaten that I'm going to go for the all-in. And the move that I really liked that I did was sending a villager right here, because I realized he has a gold here, gold here, gold here. If I make a tower here, he can't deck up. The moment this tower got up, like already now, I should have stopped making units and I should have gone castle. I should have stopped making all units, switched this shit to food. I had the whole map. Like, if you look at the map, everything is mine. He's stuck in his base. I should have stopped. I should have gone food and gold, gotten castle. Then I should have just gotten my second TC. And then, even though he will have a little... I mean, I don't even... Yeah, he has his 4 villagers less because of the French production. So if I went castle now, by the time this TC does like 4 or 5 villager production, I will have my second TC, faster production, and I would be ahead in villagers. And this would be playable game for me. But what I ended up doing is something really stupid and just indecisive. I think my games versus Vortex and Marinlord, the best way to describe them is indecisive. Like, I just didn't... Everything I did, I was like, do I do it? I just wasn't confident, and I don't know why. It wasn't being, like, not confident against Marine Lord or Vortex. It was, like, not being confident in my decisions. And everything I did, I was kind of questioning it a little bit. And I mentioned this when I played M4C. Every decision I made, I was sure that that's the right move. And I followed through with it. But, yeah, this past weekend, I don't know, but everything I did, I was just, like, doing stuff I don't usually do. And just being like, no. Like, even here, if I fully committed to Ram and all in, that would have been better. But I didn't do either. I kind of, like, did a little bit of both. Like, look at this. 17 archers versus 11 archers. Why am I not pushing? Like, I mean pushing. I'm just sitting. See that? And I have no idea why. 19 archers versus 15. Like, I can literally just push here. And, like, push hard. I could have denied these houses, this mill. Could have gone from here into wood lines. And instead, I was so focused with this idea to deny gold, I kept building towers that didn't do anything. Because this one tower did the same job, which is to deny the golds. So... I also knew that this is the last food line, right? So I could have gone around earlier, deny that, because I denied berries here. But, look, instead of making more towers like a fucking baboon. And, that's what ultimately costed me the game. Like, this was just indecisive completely. Like, right now he has more units. Because I think I, like, cut the archer production, or maybe he ranked it up. Oh yeah, he has 3 archer range. So now he has more units. And now I stop unit production, go castle. But it's already too late. Like, I should have had second PCA castle already. Because if I had castle like 5 minutes ago or 4 minutes ago, he wouldn't even have started mining gold. Like, he would be so far behind. And I built a house here because I knew there's a chance he might sneak out villagers. And even that I predicted well, like, but yeah, just bad decisions. Like, I think the play was fine, the strategy was fine, the execution was just bad. And then he chases me down here. I mean, at this point the game's over. At this point the game is omega over. Like, I get this tower down, but then he resumes mining here, he gets another TC, and, yeah. I had a second TC, but he had a third TC, so, oh yeah, and what happens now is because I lost all my army, I have all this food gathering, right, but he just runs me down because he has more units, and the game goes from bad to worse. I think there's 2 types of losses. There's the type of loss where you lost and you're like, man, I got so outplayed. Like, this guy's good, you know? And you've had that if you played any game casually, for fun, for competition. You've had that, you know? You lose and you're like, damn, this fucking guy wrecked me. You know what I mean? And, like, I lost against Vortex 3-0. Those games were awful. Like, if you want to learn anything from me, don't watch any of those games. Those were atrocious games. Against Marine Lord, I think I made some wrong decisions, but against Vortex, I just completely played trash. But what I'm trying to say is, there's the type of losses where you just feel like the guy's just better, but there's also the type of losses where the games were close, but you're like, okay, there's a lot of things I can improve that were not necessarily, this is going to take me 3 weeks to improve. It's just a matter of a decision, right? And I feel like those were kind of the losses that I had. So, a few people ask me, like, are you now, like, not confident against them? Not really, because I feel like I played pretty poorly as far as decision making goes. Mechanically, I played fine. I played pretty poorly decision making wise, and I still ended up losing 2-3, and I did beat him in the winner's bracket 3-1, right? So I still feel fine. And like I said, after the Roos game, after the Rus Abbasid game, we were both that tired. Like, I was playing sloppy, he was playing sloppy, because after the first games, we were 2.5 hours into best of 5. So this is a third map, and I thought that this spawn was shit for me. A lot of people actually thought that this spawn was great for me. I disagree completely. I think that as long as you have 2 relics in HRE mirror, you're fine. Obviously you want 3 and the guy that has 3 has an advantage. But look at his spawn. 1 wall here walls off the front. 1 wall here walls off this side. And 1 wall here walls off this. This is all walled off. So I actually had a good lead here in castle, and I couldn't kill him because everything was walled. Meanwhile, if I want a wall, wall here, wall here, wall here, wall here, wall here, and then this shit that annoyed me so much, look at this, it's all small openings that I had to wall individually. This is also a passage, by the way, which you'll see later, and then I have to wall here. So, yes, I had the advantage of the relics, but I think the other spot is way better in an HRE mirror because he can go Swabia with 0 units. Like, if he actually went Swabia with 0 units, he could have gotten it way faster. And I can't do that. I have to make army. So the problem was, I made army, but I couldn't go faster Swabia because I had to make units because I can't wall off all this shit. And he could have skipped it. So I think that in his position, he made a mistake of actually making fighting units. He should have just walled. Even stone walled. Stone wall here. Stone wall here, stone wall here in castle, and he just goes into Swabia. I would commit to knights because I had to, thus delay my Swabia, and then it would negate the relic. But like I said, third relic is nothing to scoff at. It's very good. I just personally think that I would prefer to be in his spot than my spot because of that. So yeah. Anyway, this game, I mean, honestly, out of all the games, I felt like I probably played this game the cleanest. I don't think I could have done or should have done anything different. So yeah, there's not much to say about this game. I thought I played good HRE mirror. Dude, I almost lost my scout because what happened was I sent it here. It ran into a TC, then I shift queued it around and it ran into TC again because there was no way to cross this. But I didn't know, right? I didn't see that this is a huge mountain. So I almost lost my scout. Because, yeah. He went double scout, which put him 1 worker behind. 2 workers behind, actually. Oh yeah, he went 2 prelates, by the way, which I think is a bit... I mean, I know why he went 2 prelates, because he had gold on this side, but also maybe chapel here would be better. I would probably chapel here if I was him. Try get. I don't know if you can reach the gold. I think he could reach the gold, berries and wood, but instead he opted for deer and wood. I don't know. But yeah, here he was 2 workers behind simply because of he made a second scout. Here he tries to wall. I scout it. You know what's funny? In a way, the reason I scouted it is because there's no other passages to go through. So there's only this passage you can leave his base. So I don't know how this was a seeded map because this map is shit. Like, I'm just gonna say that. Whether you think this is my or his advantage, it's unfair for both sides. Like, I have an easier third relic, obviously, and he has, like, this is a ridiculous spawn. This spawn shouldn't exist in a competitive game. So, yeah, this map seed was awful. In general. Yeah, this was seeded, yeah. Yeah, I take the relics here. He walls here off, tries to send his own prelate soon. I don't know where it is. Obviously, because he's walling, I know he's gonna try to take it, so I find it. I kill it. The horseman, I send the knight to catch this one. I catch it, I kill it. And yeah, from here on out, like I said, I think I just played clean game. Like, he's kept sending knights around, I kept catching them. I went 2 stables. He went... Oh, he was 2 stables too. So this is where he's already stopped the production. Because he's going fast, what's it called? Sabia. But I got it faster. Because I think I have 5 worker lead right now, by the way. So look at this. So I'm trying to wall against knights. Look at this. Wall there, knight passes. Okay. Wall here. There's gonna be a knight soon coming. Look at this. Wall here. Fucking knights again. Just pass right now. I wall here and here because I noticed that this is also passage. Knight comes. Like, every time I put a wall, a knight came through, so that was funny. But yeah, from here on out, he lost all his knights, and I think I lost 1 knight. So I have 10 military versus 2, and because he lost all the knights, I was like, okay, let's just put the pressure. He bought stone here to wall. And I just captured all 3 sites, and from here on out, like, look at these farms. He didn't even start the farms. Like, you can see, like, we're both floating resources. Like I said, we were tired at this point. But yeah, I just take the whole map. I put a castle in the middle, and I win with the sacred sites in the end. So it was a very one-sided in the end. I mean, there was a moment where it's like I lost a lot of units, but it didn't matter. This game was probably the worst game out of the 5 that I've played. I just played it awful. So a lot of people were wondering why I picked what's it called? Why I picked what's this? Chinese. I think Chinese are a great counter to French, even though it's Dry Arabia. You just don't want to pick Chinese and Dry Arabia because you might run into differences. But I wasn't like, oh my god, it's French. Like, I knew he was going to pick French. Because the only other civ that he had was Chinese. So I knew he's not going to pick Chinese on Chinese. Or Chinese or Dry Arabia. So I was fine with this pick. I wasn't like, oh shit, I got a counter pick. Is it my favorite pick? No. But did I mind it? No. So, there were a lot of things going wrong this game, and just, I played awful. Like, I don't know how else to put it. I played fucking trash this game. And I'm gonna speed it up, because early on it starts okay. I make a couple of spearmen to defend the knights. Obviously I move out and the knight runs past me. Unlucky, brother. I wall this off so there's no knight harassment. You know, my spawn was okay. I put barbecue to protect 2 food places here, so I thought my spawn was okay. You know, I don't mind it. I don't hate it. I went for Song Dynasty. I didn't go for second TC. I didn't want to be greedy. I kept scouting. I saw double archer range, so I knew what was coming. I went for Zugenu. And the biggest mistake that I have made was losing this scout. Losing this scout pretty much costed me the game, in my opinion, because somewhere here he quits on the attack. He went double stable as well, so he was very committed. But I should have remade the scout. But somewhere here he just stops making units, and he had pro scouts, by the way. He stops making units and he just goes for castle. So here I had way more units than him. I should have just fought, right? But again, my decision making this match, this last 2 games that I lost, was just so bad. Like, if you look at the unit count, I can fucking ruffle stomp his army. Look at his army. Look at my army. So here I go for the oh yeah, here he is distracting me. I should have left like 5 spears here, but I didn't, so he does the harass here and he actually kills quite a few villagers, I think. 3, 4, 5 maybe. He kills reinforcements. So here I push, and because I lost that scout earlier, I had no idea he's stacking up until I saw the triple barracks. I didn't even need to see age up at this point. I knew that men-at-arms are coming. But he had deer under TC, so I'm like trying to harass something, and there's not much I can harass. And this was a big disadvantage from here on out. He has 5 workers ahead, which is not the end of the world, but here I do some micro on the units. I thought I traded okay with these, but here I get harassed more, and the game kind of just goes really weird from here on out. And again, I thought I was in a huge disadvantage, which I wasn't, but Beastyqt. So here he just goes to harass my yeah, these men-at-arms are still chasing me, by the way. I just hit castle, so I just started building crossbows. So here I started losing units. I lose the Imperial officer. And yeah, it all starts with that scout dying because I didn't know that he's aging up. I didn't know that he's not making more units. So now the worker count is 60 versus 65. Still fine for me, but the current units that he had, I couldn't really contest because I didn't have enough. Looking back, or I thought I didn't have enough. Looking back, I could have pushed here now, you know, because I had nested bees and stuff. But again, I falsely thought I am too far behind, so I just kind of chilled. And the economy is actually even, which surprises me now because I didn't watch this game. By the way, this was one of the games I did not watch yesterday when I analyzed my replays. But I thought I was really far behind in this game. Like, I thought I was like 30-40 supply behind. So what I could have, should have done is I should have just stonewalled starting from here. Like, I should have just stonewalled here into all the way down there and secure myself. But I felt like I couldn't afford to do anything. I felt like I couldn't waste stone like that, so I didn't. Meanwhile, obviously I had the second TC, so my eco is actually fine. We're almost identical worker count. I get a keep here, which just gets destroyed, so I kind of just donated a keep. Like, a keep maybe would be better here to secure the food. But yeah, so from here on out, like I said, I mean, now I'm starting to slowly get behind, but I thought I was way far behind, and I'm kind of holding on the whole time. He has the whole map, and eventually he starts finding damage. And just to show you, I'm gonna go near the end of the game to see how fucking dead tired I was. Oh, by the way, my blood thing, my whatever it is called, the artery in my eye popped. When I finished the games, I went to the bathroom and I looked in the mirror, and my fucking artery, blood vessel, yeah, not artery, I'm retarded, blood vessel popped. Like, my eye was red because of the eye strain for 4.5 hours. Because there's a difference in playing game for 8 hours and then playing like that for 5 hours that our best of 5 was lasting. So yeah, so here I walled this off, but it's too late because he like harassed me there a couple of times, then my worker dies, so it's not even fucking walled off. Units kept run by here. So yeah, this is what I want to show you. So this is where I'm kind of doing okay, actually. Look, I have a shit ton of food. I'm producing. It's all good. I don't have a lot of gold, but I'm like doing okay, right? I didn't even notice this, by the way, in the game. I think this is the time. So I was 120 villagers. So I lose another 10 there. I don't know if this was the one night. but I want to show you this. Like, slowly I'm building bombard numbers, by the way. He has way more economy. Look at this. I lose more workers. But there's a point where a knight or a few knights come in and I didn't notice at all, and I lose all my villagers. Maybe it was here. So I lose more villagers there. Like, the reactions are fucking awful, right? Was it these ones? $60 workers. So I started winning the fights, but like I'm winning the trades. Oh, it was these ones. I win the trades, but I have no no economy. Look at my economy, 50 eco. So check this out. I didn't even notice, guys. And then I looked at my workers, and I was literally like, where the fuck are my workers? Like I remember looking at this 5, 9, and 10, and I look at my base, and like, look, there's nothing on the farm except 4 workers. And I was like, whoa. When the fuck did that happen? Look, I still didn't notice. Like, these nights literally went on for like 3 minutes there. So, yeah, I'm gonna... I think it was okay until the point where, like, there was so many attacks and I couldn't keep up. Like, I was just dead. And when that happened, I knew the game was over. Like, look, by the way, these units were searching for the knights that killed my villagers. You know how those 2 knights just ran here and died? I didn't see that. I saw my dead base, and then I went and scoured around to find the knights. That's how, like, lost in space I was. And then, I mean, from here on out, the game's Omega over. There's not much else to do. Not much else to do, brother. I look more knights, I didn't even notice that either. So, yeah, I think a lot of that last game, not so much decision making. Well, scouting could have been better, but it was just a fact of I was just dead tired, and he was dead tired. We both made mistakes. So I'm not super bummed out. Like, oh my god, I can't beat these guys. I think I'll do just fine. I need to figure out mentally why I played so, like, insecure. I kept thinking that I'm behind, or I don't know. It's weird. Because I think, like I said, at M4C, I had a different mindset completely. Like, I was always sure in what I'm doing. I was always like, when I go for an attack, I go for it. And if I won that last game, by the way, I would have lost to Vortex 100%. Because I was dead tired. And I was expecting Marine Lord to lose 4-0. And then they changed the best of 7 to best of 5. Because the players wanted that. And I was like, okay, Marine Lord's going to lose 3-0. And then Marine Lord was losing 2-0 and ended up winning 3-2. So props to him for actually winning in the finals after that fucking Clan Fiesta best of 5. But I'm like 99% sure I would have lost just because that's how tired I was. I saw a lot of comments in Twitch chat when I was watching Marine Lord Vortex that, of course these guys are not tired. They practice 8 hours a day every day. It's like, yeah, but those are ladder games, brother. Those are not competitive games that are extremely, like, you know, usually when you play 5 hours, that's like 10, 12 games of like beating up some new, beating up decent player, yada yada. These were 5 hours of 1 hour games. Like, it was very, very straining. So anyway, I don't know what kind of video this was for the YouTubes, but I hope you enjoyed it. And I do hope that winners from Winners Bracket have a different kind of advantage. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching. Let me know what kind of videos you would like to see. Or if you want to see the round 2, aka next week's review. Technically, it wouldn't be next week. It would be 2 weeks from now, because each round lasts 2 weeks. And if you're watching on Twitch, let's keep going and play some ladder games, shall we?